This one is probably going to be one of the more controversial ones if the first three aren't already. Green versus Bell third-party custody is a fantastic court record, trust me. Changed my life. So I'm going to handle Jeannie Cashman in a different type of way because she is a striking blonde, blue-eyed woman, and she came from wealth in Everett, Washington. I see that she's relocated, probably wealthier than ever. So, we're all intimidated by blonde, blue-eyed people. So let me ask her some questions, okay? Let's do this for litigation. Miss Cashman, is it true that your declarations, more than one, are included in Green versus Bell third-party custody out of Washington State? Yes or no? Is it true that during this third-party custody you were making declarations in favor of the defendant, Pedro Bell? Yes or no? Is it true that prior to Mossy Green's death, you were an advocate for her and her wishes to have her eldest daughter take care of her youngest daughter, Alexandria Bell, after her death? Yes or no? To be more precise, were you there in apparent support of the idea that Mossy Green's oldest daughter would be allowed to have custody of Alexandria Bell after Mossy Green's death, inevitable death from stage 4 cancer? Yes or no? Is it true that prior to Mossy Green's death, you were not friendly with Pedro Bell, the defendant? Yes or no? Is it true prior to Mossy Green's death, you did not have any sort of relationship with her oldest daughter, whether that be a good relationship or a bad relationship? Yes or no? Or elaborate. And this is going to be a provocative question, and sue me if you have to. Is it true that you told Mossy Green that you were a victim of child rape and the person that raped you was your father, and that he also raped each of your other sisters with your mother's consent and awareness? Yes or no? Okay. Well, Jeannie, my mother told me that your father raped you and your sisters and your mother knew. My mother bonded with child abuse sex victims on her way out of here, including Pedro Bell, who is, I guess this is on the record, but let me tell you what I know about my ex-stepfather. He is a foster kid of New York City. He does not know who his parents are. He does not know what race he is. And he was abused in foster care. So just assume he was abused in foster care. He's a sociopath, which means he's a pathological liar. So the fact that they dressed him up in girls' clothes, he could be lying. The fact that they abused his biological sister and she ran away and he didn't grow up with her, he could be lying because he's a sociopath and pathological liar. But these are the things he told my mother, and in regards to his sister, he told me that himself. This man was in my family for 10 years, more or less. We had lots of conversations during that time. Okay, but at least verify that he's a foster kid and doesn't know who his parents are. My mother bonded with Pedro Bell. Now, she met Pedro Bell at a juke joint. I'll have to remember which one that is because I'll put that on the record somewhere. But after she met him and took him home, on a one-night stand and married him about 2 weeks later, he told her he was a child abuse victim, and that was exciting to her. But again, he could be lying. He's a sociopath. He also told my mother that he could not have kids. So my mother was married, then got pregnant. Of all those abortions she had, she was actually married and got knocked up by somebody, 13 or 16 years younger than her. Okay, he was born in 63, she was born in 51. You do the math. Okay. Or was he born in 66? Anyway, we'll figure it out. Much younger than her, and this sociopath, pathological liar, told my mother that he couldn't have babies, and he knocked her up at the ripe old age of 41 years old. But anyway, back to Jeannie Cashman. I was going to, now how do I say this? I was going to do something very felonious to her. And it was going to be her, my uncle Burl Clinton, and Pedro Bell. I would have had to pull off an Andrew Cannonahue to make this happen. I would have had to start off with a crime in Everett, and then I would have had to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and take care of everybody I could find at 3924 North 24th Street. And then I would have to go all the way to South Florida. Doesn't that remind you of Andrew Cannonahue? If that's how you pronounce his name? I prayed. I think this was probably 2005 or 2006. I got on my knees and prayed, and I asked God, should I kill these people? And his answer was no. And I never thought about it again. And I actually forgave Jeannie Cashman, someone who I pondered taking out of my misery. I forgave her along the process. But, we're going over Green versus Bell again, this time with pictures. She is online, so she may be the first name that gets discovered. Jeannie, do something about it. I'm going to talk to you like I'm going to talk to everybody else. Do something about it. Prove me wrong, okay? And if I take this down, sweetheart, I'll definitely write that book online, and I'll make it a free PDF downloadable event, okay? In regards to you being a rape victim, maybe you're a pathological liar because you sure did betray my mother.